Claire.
Shall we start, gang?
Hello,
Right.
can you hear me?
Hello, everybody.
Hello, sorry, I had an internet issue. It just completely froze on me for a moment. Hello, you all okay?
Yeah. Right. Shall we? Do you want to start, Claire?
Yes. Hello, and welcome to our Facebook Live, this time all about Christmas. So, hello. I'm just going to introduce the the gang. So guys, feel free to go ahead and jump in and introduce yourself. Amy?
Hello, everyone. For those that don't know me, I am Amy. I run Swindon Dog Training with my colleague Alex. We work all over Swindon and surrounding areas. We do classes, one-to-ones, workshops, lots of fun stuff, and we work with all sorts of dogs. So, yeah, if you're in the area and you need a trainer, give us a bell. Shameless plug.
Good for you, Amy.
Go for it. Sarah?
Yeah, hi. Ho, 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 everybody. I have gone all out Christmas. The tree's up today and super excited about joining Amy and Claire today to talk about everything to do with Christmas and our little four-legged friends. So let's kick it off.
Lovely. So yes, for those that don't know me, I'm Claire. I run Insight Hounds. We specialise in training Insight Hounds, all mainly ex-racing greyhounds, and based in the Midlands. So yes, today, as Sarah says, I haven't gone quite as festive as the others yet. I'm a 1st of December kind of girl normally. These have come out ahead of time because I've been peer pressured by you guys ahead of time.
Put you in a sparkly scarf though.
Yeah, I'm doing the bits. So yeah, we're going to talk about Christmas, and obviously it's an exciting time of year for us, but it's a big time of year for the dogs, and lots of novelty and different things going on. So we want to have a look at it from their point of view and ways we can help you with that. So we're going to kick off with a little bit about sort of some of the safety guidelines. We've been talking about the dogs and looking at things and going, actually, if we were to sort of try and explain Christmas to our dogs, it's such an alien concept. It's like Christmas is a time when your human's going to bring a tree, one of those things you're used to peeing up outside. They're going to bring one of those into the house. They might get a real one that's got all these different smells going on with it, that's had all sorts of animals on, or they might get an artificial one that maybe has been stored in a garage or a loft, which has got really interesting smells going on with it. They're going to probably put that in the corner of the room and then put something called tinsel all over it. Tinsel looks a bit like a squirrel's tail, but sparkly, or a bit like one of those ragging toys that you've got that you play around with. They're going to put some lights on. They make a nice, tasty material for puppies especially, and some dogs that like to chew. And then your human's going to stick balls. We know how much you love balls. Retrievers adore a ball to bring back. Terriers love to destroy a ball. And if you've got a sight hound like me, they love to put it in their mouth and run off and forget their name. And the human is going to cover the tree in balls. They might put some food on the tree as well, and potentially some boxes under the tree. And we know how good your sense of smell is. They're going to put lots of boxes under the tree that smell really interesting as well. But you can't touch any of that, otherwise you're going to ruin the human's Christmas. Have we got any questions, dogs? It's kind of like, it's such a bonkers concept of how much we're asking them, how alien it is, but how many of those things and items are actually really familiar to our dogs. It's natural they're going to want to jump in. So I think one of the big things to look at Christmas is safety and control and management, and really lots of different ways we can do that. I know you can get pens, put things out of height, but have you guys got any top tips on safety around Christmas to stop the dogs going, oh, balls, trees, tinsel?
I'm very lucky. Our dogs don't go anywhere near it, but we're just very careful not to put any food items that may have been given as presents under the tree until we're kind of ready to have them, just to make sure that there aren't any accidents, especially as a cheese lover. My dogs love cheese. So that's a very popular present for me, and I don't want to share it. So it's very much kept out of my dog's reach for sure. What about you, Ames?
Yeah, keep out of reach, I think, is the biggie for us. I love these things. It's my little pal with us today, but this is kind of Willow, especially one of my dogs. This is her idea of heaven, like a giant cuddly toy with some fur. So when we're decorating, it's kind of keep everything out of reach. We actually haven't had Willow for Christmas yet. She is a rescue. She had a Christmas in her old home, but hasn't had a Christmas with us. So we'll kind of err on the side of caution, I think, this year. We'll go gradual with decorations because both of mine are rescues. Both of mine are a bit like, whoa, what is going on with new stuff? So, and I like to go big with decorations. So we'll go gradual, so we don't overwhelm them. So we'll start to put out a few little bits, so they can kind of get used to it. But yeah, it will all be out of reach of inquisitive little doggy mouths, I think.
Yeah. Well, I noticed today when I put the tree up that, the dogs were very close by. Because there's a change to the environment, things look different to how they're normally used to, where their beds are slightly further in the room. Like you say, all the smells. And they were kind of going, okay, well, we've been here several years, but we're still, because it happens so infrequently, we're still a bit unsure and just wanted to keep an eye on us to make sure we weren't doing anything they didn't like. So, but they're fast asleep behind me now, so they're quite happy.
That's great. So some top tips. We do the same. We very much keep things out of reach. We had a couple of dogs where a tree was fine, and then we adopted a dog and we were like, yeah, we're just not going to bother with a tree this year. It was just too high risk. But definitely keeping things out of reach and avoiding the food on the trees. I did notice a couple of times this year they've got parasol trees, which are trees where it's just in the top part of the tree, a bit like the one that you've got in the back. So that might be an option for people that love it but don't want the dogs eating bulbils at the bottom. So I think, sorry, go on.
Sorry to jump in. My slight worry with Willow this year is that she's going to be interested in eating the pine needles. We normally get a real tree. She is a Romanian rescue. She likes to eat anything and everything. So any of those needles that drop, I think she'll probably try and hoover them up, which obviously, they're small, they're sharp, they're pointy, they're not the best thing for her to be eating. So we might have to go with your pen, the pen that you mentioned, putting a pen round. Otherwise, I'll be kind of like sweeping or hoovering, every half an hour. So yeah, we're not quite sure how we're going to manage it. And it, as you say, Sarah, totally depends on the dog. But I have a sneaky suspicion that she will be trying to eat anything that falls off that tree. So we'll have to be really careful with that.
Yeah. I mean, my biggest challenge is when we've got visitors coming around, just how we introduce, new people that coming into the house. That they may or may not have met before. Sometimes a lot of my friends have got dogs and, mine have got some big emotions. So, we work out a plan. So every dog has its chance to be around the people and socialize, but they also have some time out and quiet time as well to manage it so that, we can still spend time with our family and our dogs. But it can be a logistical nightmare when you get a new dog and if you, not everybody loves a dog. You can't leave your baby behind, but not everybody expects you to bring your dog along. So it's always a challenge in that one sometimes.
Yeah, I think it really is. I think on the visitors side of things, a couple of things to consider and be aware of is we've had visitors potentially that aren't as dog savvy as us, so we've had to put extra barriers in place for doors because they sort of go, oh, I'm just going to nip to the car and open the door and then leave the dog. And the other thing I found with visitors is you're going, can I just ask you about this present? Is it edible? Because I need to know whether it's one that I've got to keep out of reach or not out of reach. I'm not just trying to find out what you've given me, but I need to know if it's something that can be potentially kept safe around the dogs or has got to be out of reach of the dogs. So that's always useful to be quizzing your guests on.
Yeah, no,
I find as well, and it's always my dad. Sorry, Dad, if you're watching, but you can drum home the point as much as you want, but he'll just leave his mince pie on the coffee table as he goes to the loo or to top up his wine or whatever. And we know, I know, Sarah, you're going to talk about food, but raisins are really not okay for dogs. So it's that kind of thing with visitors who don't necessarily have their own dogs. Making sure that they're aware of kind of all that stuff, what's okay for dogs. And we had our last dog, remember my nan feeding him like some bones of the turkey. I was like, no. Not, but so yeah, if you're not exactly as you say, Claire, if they're not as dog savvy as well, the three of us, but as kind of most dog owners that will be watching this, it's worth kind of laying down some kind of polite festive ground rules from the get-go.
Yes, I think one bit that sometimes gets missed with visitors post unwrapping presents as well is people have been really cautious up to the point of we won't leave anything under the tree so the dogs can't get it. But then after opening times, there's like little piles that are then left in the living room while everyone moves to another room to eat. And suddenly it's fair game for the dogs that there's all these little piles left out that we can now explore that are unwrapped, but still wrapped in boxes that they can sniff out and eat. So it's being mindful of moving those. And if you've got someone that loves to sort of like rip open the presents, those little silica gels are all over the place these days. Bouncing out, just making sure that we tidy up as well and be dog conscious post unwrapping and with guests in the house. You were talking nicely about poisonous foods earlier. Do we want to jump onto that while we're on that topic?
Well, I mean, most things around Christmas are pretty good for dogs. You know, believe it or not, cranberries are brilliant for dogs. And I'll be posting up a recipe for Christmas pudding cookies. I know. And maybe for graduation and my puppy classes and my other classes next week, then maybe some Christmas pudding cookies as your graduation treat. You never know. And so we've got cranberries are brilliant, you know, turkey, all the sort of veggies, etc. But you've just got to be careful. You know, I love giving my dogs a Christmas dinner, but obviously it can be a bit richer than what they normally have. And so, you know, the caution is not to go too over the top of treats at Christmas, because none of us want to be awake during Christmas Day night as a consequence of all the treats that maybe we've eaten. That's okay. We can only blame ourselves, but also maybe what our dogs get. But yeah, there are a few things like Amy said about raisins, grapes. If you have a cheese board, they're not great. You know, they're not good for dogs. Onions, so you may be cooking some onion gravy, using it in certain foods. So, you know, happily we'll share a list of foods that, you know, you can give your dog at Christmas. So I'll get that up as well, so that, you know, you can still treat and spoil your dogs. But, you know, just maybe mindful of some of those little things that we kind of think, oh, can they have that? Because I was really surprised when dogs can have blueberries, thinking it's very similar to the raisin. But no, they can have blueberries and they can have cranberries too. But I think they'd only want dried ones because the real ones are so sour. I can't imagine that they'd want to have a real cranberry because they are just vile.
Yeah, no, that's great. So the other obvious ones are, like Amy said, the cooked bones, the chocolates, a couple of big ones as well that are in there that are well worth avoiding, but I think a lot of people know about that. The other ones are the caffeine and alcohol. So people tend to have, there might be a bit more booze floating around over Christmas, and again, cups and mugs being left in accessible places with visitors popping things down. Some dogs will love to explore that given their chance, and obviously we don't want any expensive late night trips to out of hours vets or anything along those lines. So it's well worth erring on the side of caution with all that.
And of course, it depends on what you normally give your dog. You know, my dogs quite often, we've had a roast dinner today. They've been kind of nibbling on the veggies and the turkey and stuff like that. So if your dog is used to kind of eating that kind of stuff, then their tummies will kind of be able to manage it a little bit better than if your dog only has their kind of normal dry food and suddenly has loads of extras at Christmas. That's going to be a bit of a bigger jump. So yeah, like everything we always say, you know your dog's best, not you two. I mean, you know, well, yeah, you say, everyone, we all know our own dog's best.
Yeah, we do.
So kind of, you know, take our advice with kind of a pinch of salt and kind of go, apart from the poisonous stuff, obviously.
Yeah.
But yeah, if you know that your dog cannot handle human food, then I would just avoid it. You know, there's plenty of other, you know, lots of dog brands do kind of dog specific meals for Christmas. So just be careful with what you're giving them.
Perfect.
Definitely. Yeah, I've got the sensitive stomach, and like Sarah, one of mine's got very sensitive stomach, and I know if I go down any kind of dodgy route with anything a bit different, I'm going to be having late night Christmas trips being called up in the night to go and deal with situations that you just don't want to be dealing with on Christmas night evening. It's just not worth it. So yeah, great advice there. Just while we're on the food and the poison things, the other thing is the plants, those poinsettias that come in at Christmas. They're not around the rest of the year, and mistletoe, ivy, things like that can be toxic as well. So it's well worth being aware of those coming into the house, keeping them out of reach, and making sure they're not accessible to your dogs either.
Yeah. Well, I make my own wreaths, so I have to wash all the ivy and mistletoe and everything to make sure that it hasn't, if I've picked anything at floor height, to make sure that it hasn't got any deposits that need to be. Makes a whole different experience to my homemade wreath. But yeah, that's just lowered the tone, hasn't it?
That's so funny.
Oh, so talking of humour, come on, Amy, tell us some games we can play at Christmas.
Christmas fun and games. So yeah, along with all the recipes and food stuff, we thought we'd give you some ideas of some kind of fun bits you can do with your dog, because it's my favourite time of year. It's a brilliant time of year, loads of stuff going on for us. So what can we do with our dogs? So start off, when is the 1st of December? Thursday, did you say?
Yeah.
So Thursday, advent calendars. I've been really lazy and bought one for mine. Sarah, I know you do something a bit more exciting. You must love your dogs more than me.
Well, no, I'm just a cheapskate, because all I have to do is just put their treats in. So I've got 2 dogs who I have 2 treats that go in a box, and then they get an advent every morning, you see. And I got this from TK Maxx a couple of years ago, and ironically, it's only got 2 23rd and not a 24th. But the dogs don't care, so it doesn't matter. So yeah, that's my little advent calendar that I do for my dogs, and then the humans have one upstairs. So we all get something. Oh, the snowman's falling off now.
Oh, that's great. Mine go with the I'm with Amy with the bought version. This is what mine get a Merry Christmas sausage a day calendar, which thoroughly enjoyable.
Absolutely.
You can't argue with that, can you? A sausage.
No, we shouldn't miss out.
Cool. So tricks that you can teach your dog at Christmas. I like trick training. Most of the training that I do is kind of lifestyle training, but trick training is fun. If you can get your dog to love training, it builds your bond with them, and it kind of motivates you to kind of do more training because you're enjoying it along with your dog. So what can we do at Christmas? Round the Christmas tree is a classic. Teach them to go from you round the Christmas tree and back to you before they get their reward. You could do jumps over tinsel. So you could hold out a bit of tinsel. You could start it really low on the floor. And then especially if you've got visitors, you could hold it a little bit higher each time, depending on how active your dog is. Anything else, guys? Any tricks that you teach your dogs? Get creative. What have we got?
You can do 2 paws on an item. So with mine, I have to check it's quite a sturdy box, because 30-kilogram dogs on a box can easily cave in. But teaching 2 paws on a box is quite a cute trick, especially if it's wrapped and looking good.
I'm all up for a bow. I'm all up for a bow for Christmas. I mean, I want them to bow because, they're just, getting into the festive royal experience.
I love 2 paws on a Christmas present for your Christmas photos. Brilliant. The other one that we do in class is chin. So getting your dog to rest their chin on your hand. Really nice for kind of selfies and stuff. I'm all for kind of festive photos with your dog at this kind of year, this time of year. So fabulous.
Oh, while we're on festive photos, something that does seem to be a trend, and we've touched on this in other lives, is about dressing up dogs. And it's just being aware of, sometimes there's all these really cute outfits out there. Now, a lot of the greyhounds and Insight Hounds in particular are used to wearing coats because of the thin skin. So putting a cute Christmas coat on them going out for their walk is lovely. But some dogs aren't used to coats, and suddenly we're in a roasting house with fires going, with ovens on, and then we've got them into like a lovely little jumper as well. So the poor things are absolutely melting and uncomfortable and can get a bit grouchy. So that's something to be mindful of and not do. And also on the Christmas side of things, mine sometimes have Christmas collars. and just remembering to switch your tags over. So obviously we know it's the law that if you're out with your dogs, they've got to have a tag on, and making sure that tag is Christmassy as opposed to, or the tag is on the Christmas collar as well as their normal collar.
What lucky dogs.
Tips.
Really
Yes.
Yeah.
So
So
I'm just going to jump off for one moment. I won't be a second.
So Amy, have you had fun at Black Friday?
Have I had fun on Black Friday?
With all those deliveries coming, we know something that we can do with those, don't we?
We do indeed. To be fair, I reined it in on Black Friday this year because I'm trying not to spend so much money on deliveries. But does anyone have an Amazon box to hand? I meant to have one.
I don't actually. I've got no, we're rubbish.
Well, I had
falling down already.
It was recycling day. It's gone out.
It's a time of year when we're probably getting a lot of deliveries, especially if you're online shopping for gifts and stuff. Again, we've talked about this in our enrichment live, but box games that you can do with recycling. So cardboard box, often they come kind of ready-made with paper already in it. Yeah. Scatter a couple of treats in, let your dog go wild, sniff for the treats. They're using all those natural instincts. They're using their nose to sniff them. They can shred. They're foraging for their food. It's a really, really nice way to kind of give them an opportunity to be a dog. Use all their things that make them a dog. If you're anything like me, you'll wrap that box in Christmas paper just because it looks festive, and why not?
My little health and safety on that is make sure we haven't got like bows and things like that. Some paper have got the ribbons and bows. Just make sure your dog's on it in that, or foil paper. But you can get some really lovely just plain paper, but it's got the Christmas decorations on. That's fab. That's where I'm going with it this year.
Yeah, absolutely. And now if your dog is eating the box, then maybe it's not the activity for you. Or if they're eating stuff, it's probably so keep an eye on them.
We'll do Christmas hide and seek. And then what I'm working on at the moment is trying to get my dogs to sit on a Christmas card.
So kind of target training.
Exactly, on a Christmas card. Don't anyone listening to from my gang, then yes, I might be giving away our final puppy class adventure that we've got. Christmas musical chairs using Christmas cards, and the dog is the one that's going to sit their bum down.
That's nice. That's really nice.
Brilliant.
The other thing on recycling, I do have my Blue Peter prop for this one. You all know this is one of my favourite easy things to do when my dogs are being a pain and need something to do. I mean, pop a little treat in here. They'll be here in a minute. They hear the rustling of the cardboard. Normally, I just fold the ends over, pop a treat and fold the other end over. But, it's Christmas. Get creative. Why not make a cracker out of it? Fold, squeeze the ends. Squeeze both ends like a cracker, decorate it, as you say, put some nice Christmas paper on. Personally, I'd avoid ribbons and stuff, just because I know what my dogs are like. But make it festive and give it to them. They can shred that.
Perfect. I'd love that.
Play with it. They can chuck it around, get that treat out. It doesn't look particularly impressive, does it? But your dogs don't care. That's the point.
It looks like a cracker. I like it. It's good. It's creative.
So this is a kitchen mold. This is a kitchen mold tube, but you might have extra loo roll tubes when you've got guests over. You might have loads of wrapping paper tubes, so you can make a giant cracker from where you're wrapping. So use it up. Why not? Make the most of it with your dogs.
Exactly.
Anything else in terms of kind of fun stuff to do with your dogs at Christmas from you guys?
Well, I mean, maybe some ideas coming in just for the last short minute from people on the live. We had Dave said turkey and pigs in blankets are his favourite for Benji on the food front. So sausages, bacon and turkey. You can't go wrong with that, can you really?
Yeah, Fiona's got turkey hungry as well. Fiona's got turkey as well, so lovely. So have you guys got anything that you're getting your dogs this year?
What if they are Santa Paws?
Christmas?
Santa
Paws bringing along for you guys.
I've got a massive big shark that's going to be shredded in about 30 seconds, most probably, or it will last because Poppy will take it and guard it like a dragon, because it's either one or the other with her as a major terrier breed.
That was not what I was expecting you to say.
Yeah.
That sounds good. On the giant animals, I've actually got one here, but at the moment they're sharing. This isn't officially a dog toy. This is Cleo the caterpillar, who comes from Smith's Toys, and the dogs love it. If I just show you, it's absolutely massive.
Oh my God, it's you.
But they have one. But the greyhounds, I know a few people cut the eyes off just because of health and safety, but mine are fine with that. But they wrap it up, they carry it around, they make a bed out of it every time. Kick it all around the living room. But at the moment they're sharing, which isn't a good idea. So they're having one each for Christmas. So that's what's on their list. Very popular. Toy for the greyhounds, this one.
Well, yet again, you guys are making me feel like a terrible parent. I'm quite stingy at Christmas, so they're getting the practical thing. They've decided that they like to share a bed these days. They like to snuggle up, so they're getting a big bed, which is, I need to buy them anyway, so why not? But then I just no, don't judge me. I just wrap up the stuff that they've already got.
I love it. It's a money saving. It's top tip.
Well, we can spend a fortune on our dogs, and loads of people do. But for lots of dogs, mine included, it's the unwrapping that's a good bit. They love to shred. They love to figure out what's inside something.
Yeah.
We've got a whole cupboard of chews that they have on a regular basis, and they've got enough toys. So I'm just wrap them up. I don't use sellotape, just on the health and safety thing, just in case they were to nibble on it. And I wrap all my presents just in kind of plain brown paper. Anyway, so just fold it in, just wrap up their own stuff, put it in a stocking, and they've learned that they'll only open stuff that I give them. So they're not kind of dogs that would just go and kind of take presents from under the tree or whatever. Yeah. We've taught them that you only open it when you're given. But yeah, we just wrap up. I'll just on Christmas Eve probably go to the cupboard, see what chews we've got in there, give them both a selection, pop them in their stockings, and in the morning they'll be just as delighted as if I spent hundreds of pounds.
Very true. Yeah.
I love it, Amy. That's great, and I think you've done that on purpose, because it segues lovely into what we were talking about doing our live on for January.
There you go. It's like I knew. It's like I did it on purpose.
So we're going to be back again in January, and we're going to be doing a live about sort of ways that you can still give your dog a great experience, but without spending a fortune on various things that are out there. Because I think most people are looking at the purse strings in January and sort of going, oh, what can we do? So that's going to be our January live, and it will be on our social medias, the exact date when just after Christmas.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Well, thank you. Lovely. Wish you Merry Christmas, everybody.
Yes, and as always, any questions or anything, get in touch with us. But this has been lovely. So great to catch up, and we'll see you again in January. Have a lovely Christmas.
Yeah, happy Christmas, everybody. Bye.